Shadow work is a transformative practice that can help you elevate your consciousness and unlock new levels of awareness. Because by you facing your shadows, really working with your shadows, uncovering your shadows, you can uncover and then heal those deep wounds that are still within you. And you can also shed light onto those limiting aspects of yourself that are really holding you back in your life, that are negatively affecting you in your life on a day-to-day basis. In this video, I want to share with you the 8 ways that shadow work can actually assist you in raising your consciousness, guiding you into a higher way of being or a higher state of being. Because by embracing this journey of shadow work, this can lead to greater self-awareness and also spiritual growth. So let's dive into those 8 ways that shadow work can assist you in raising your consciousness. The first way is that it actually increases your self-awareness, because by you really working with your shadow, tuning in, really uncovering more about what's really going on beneath the surface, you are starting to recognize and understand those suppressed emotions and feelings and traits that you have. This also helps you to actually become more mindful as well and more aware, because awareness is really key. In any kind of transformational work, awareness is always key. You have to become aware of what's going on in order to then have a choice to do something about it. And shadow work will give you that awareness. It gives you that self-awareness of what's really going on deep beneath the surface, because we all have shadow aspects. We all have those limiting traits, those fears, the doubts, the limiting beliefs, the past experience, those woundings, and all of those different things that are negatively impacting us today, that are affecting us on a day-to-day basis. And by doing shadow work, this can really help you increase that self-awareness. And self-awareness then also assists you actually in also raising in consciousness as well, because you're opening yourself up to a higher way of looking at things as well. Then the second way is emotional healing, because as you're really working with the shadow and you're uncovering those woundings, you're then starting healing those wounds, you're shedding the layers, you're really letting go of all that baggage you haven't been carrying around up until this point. That then actually also helps you raise in vibration, raises in frequency, opens up your heart center as well, so you can tap into the higher level consciousness. Because in order to tap into a higher consciousness, we have to heal our heart. We have to let go of the baggage that is weighing us down. So by doing shadow work, it really helps with that emotional healing. And when you start healing yourself on a deep inner level, that really sets you free to then ascend higher, to raise in consciousness. Now, emotional healing then not only helps you address and release the trauma and the wounding, but it also helps you reduce the emotional reactivity. So you're no longer as triggered as before. You're more compassionate, actually. You're coming more from the heart. So you're going about life from more of a heart-centered way rather than in a reactive mode, constantly being triggered left and right and feeling squeezed and things like that. Then the third way is that it also improves your relationships, because as you're doing really shadow work, as you're really tuning more in, and as you're connecting more, you're actually becoming more compassionate. This then also increases your empathy, so you can then relate to other people more and better because you have done your own work. Because like I mentioned, we all have shadow aspects. Every single person has different shadow aspects, and oftentimes they are similar to what you're experiencing. So by you doing your own shadow work and learning more about your own limitations and limited selves and things like that, you become more compassionate towards other people, because then you're actually realizing it or seeing it in other people, like, you know what, I think they also have the shadow of I'm not feeling good enough, or I'm not worthy, or fear of being seen and things like that. Right? So you're becoming more empathic towards other people, more compassionate. And that can also help you build more authentic connections and relationships. And this too then also raises your consciousness, because you then also tap into a high level frequency that is more in alignment with that high level consciousness. Then the fourth way is that this also creates greater authenticity, because you're embracing all parts of you. You're no longer hiding behind different masks. You're no longer holding back or limiting yourself, but no, you're embracing all of who you are, your full authentic expression of yourself. So you're showing up in a more empowered way. You're then also taking more aligned actions that are really more in alignment with your desires. So you're really feeling more an alignment from deep within. And that too raises your consciousness as well, because you're also no longer hiding behind those masks. You're no longer limiting yourself. You're no longer feeling constricted in who you are. So that too then raises your consciousness, because you're embracing your true authentic self. Then the fifth way is that it also enhances your intuition. Because the more shadow work you do, the more you tune in, the more layers you peel back, and you're then healing and clearing those emotional wounds, that then actually also unlocks your intuitive abilities, which then also helps you to really deepen your connection with your inner wisdom, the higher wisdom, and of course that then also raises your consciousness. Because as you're then healing and clearing all these woundings, all these limitations, all of those different things, you're then really you're then unraveling your authentic self, right? And the more authentic you become, the more you're tapping into your divine gifts. And intuition is one of those gifts. And your intuition can actually also help you with shadow work as well, because then you can use your intuition to uncover more of what is really going on. How is this showing up? What am I meant to learn? And things like that. So your intuition then also assists you in doing shadow work. Then the sixth way is that it also creates personal empowerment, because as you're doing in shadow work, you're actually then working through those limitations that are sabotaging you, those self-sabotaging behaviors and traits and beliefs and fears and doubts and all of that stuff. All of those things that are really holding you back, getting in the way from you actually going after the things that you want. Like whenever you're holding back, these are shadow aspects. And when you do shadow work, you break through that. You can then move forward. You can then create that life that you want. That then also helps you raise in frequency as well, because you're then really in alignment. You're feeling so much better because you're actually feeling more empowered, because you're going after things that you want, unhindered, unlimited, no longer hiding, no longer holding yourself back, no longer talking yourself out of things, right? So you're then actually able to move forward, which then shifts you in vibration, because you're more in alignment. You're feeling more empowered. And any of those good feelings of empowerment, of excitement, of forward moving, like those good experience, that raises your vibration. That also raises your consciousness. It's often when we're stuck in that self-sabotaging behaviors and the fears and doubts that kind of pushes us down, that anchors us into the 3D world, the limited 3D world. But when you start doing shadow work and you're breaking through that, you're uncovering, what is really holding you back, and you do your work to really release that, to clear that, to heal that, to transcend it, and then you taking that and then integrating the gift, that then raises you higher and you're feeling more empowered. And that, like I said, then also raises your consciousness, because you're tapping into a higher level frequency. And of course, it also builds that inner confidence and inner strength, that you don't know that, I can do anything that I set my mind to, anything that I want to do, anything I want to create. I have the strength and power within me. So that also really then gives you that sense of empowerment. And then the seventh way is that it actually also helps with your spiritual growth. Because the more you uncover, the more you dive deeper, the more you really embrace this journey of deep inner healing, of shadow work, you're uncovering so much about yourself. You're peeling back all these layers of the onions of all these things that are holding you back. It reveals your true authentic self. That then also creates a deeper connection with your true self and also with the universe, where you then experience a sense of unity, of oneness. Because the more you uncover about yourself, the more you then also uncover your gifts, your divine gifts, your spiritual gifts, your intuition, your psychic abilities, or whatever gifts that you have, that you possess. And that then also nurtures your spiritual growth. Because then you're also tapping into a higher frequency. You're looking at life from a different perspective. You're coming more from the heart. So you're living more of a heart-centered way of being, of going about life. And that really assists your spiritual growth. Then the eighth and final way is that it actually helps you elevate into a higher vibrational state of being. Now, I already mentioned a couple of times that you're raising in frequency when you're doing shadow work, and that's really what I'm talking about, is you're tapping into the higher state of being, and you're experiencing more joy, more happiness, more freedom, more abundance, more of the good feelings in life that otherwise you don't really experience, because it's often those shadow aspects that overshadow all of those good feelings. Yes, you may have some good days where you feel absolutely great, but then, well, life happens again, something happens again, the shadow's being poked again, and you're being triggered again, and yada yada yada, right? And then you're kind of going down the rabbit hole again of those negative emotions, right? That downward spiral, because those shadow aspects, they are basically peeking their head, they're being poked, and they're causing you to feel not okay. And the more shadow work you do, you are actually releasing that, you're clearing that, you're healing that, and that raises your vibrational state. That raises you in vibration, it raises you in consciousness. You're tapping into the higher vibrational state of being, and you're showing up in a different way as well, in a higher way. So when you're elevating yourself into that higher level of consciousness through shadow work, you then show up in a different way. And that's when you experience all these good feelings more often than not. Because when you're doing shadow work, you're releasing all those lower level emotions, the fears, the doubts, the limiting beliefs, and all of that stuff that's really keeping you stuck in that lower level vibration. The more you release that, the more you ascend into that higher level frequency. And then you're showing up in that higher level. And then you're living a more of a heart-centered way. You're really tapping into the higher state of being. And then life just becomes easier. So here are the 8 ways that shadow work can assist you in raising your consciousness. I really hope that I inspired you to really dive deeper into shadow work, because yes, even though shadow work can be uncomfortable at times when you're really in the trenches of uncovering all those woundings and those things, but if you know how to do it the right way, shadow work doesn't have to be challenging. So I have a couple of videos in the description below that can assist you with that. And also feel free to, for one, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and also browse through my channel, because I talk a lot about shadow work. There are also light language activations to help you with healing and clearing shadow aspects to make this journey easier on you. But shadow work is absolutely powerful process that can assist you in raising your consciousness, and there is truly that connection, because the more shadow aspects you hold and have, and the more these shadow aspects are really predominant in your life, that are really playing out in your life, the lower in consciousness you are, because it's just weighing you down. All these shadow aspects, they're weighing you down. And the more you do shadow work, you heal them, you release them, you transcend them, you're moving into a higher frequency state, and that can then help you really tap into a higher state of consciousness. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor, hit the like button, maybe share it with someone that you think could benefit from this. Also be sure to check out these 2 videos here. One is a light language activation to transcend your limited self, and another one is a video about 4 techniques to start doing shadow work so you can get started right away. So thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Until then, make an amazingly abundant and joyful day. Namaste.